First of all, welcome everyone. Good to see you guys all here in this room. How many Dutch people are here? Any people from England or France or Germany or Belgium? Oh, okay. And you speak French or? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't speak French. I speak English. Okay, fine. Well, my name is JoeySuki, also known as Joey Lelyveld. I've been a DJ for a long time, for about 10 years, 12 years, and made music for a long time, same about 5 to 7 years. And I actually just started again, but there's been a pause in between for like, I think a year or 2, 3. Today we're here to talk about a more serious note, so about burnouts and about the negative side of the negative effect of being a DJ and what happened to me. First I'm going through my backstory, what I've done in my career, who I am, but I would like to have you going away today with some value. So most of the talk today will be a Q&A. Because I want to leave you, I want you guys to leave the room with some extra knowledge instead of just knowing my story. So if you have any questions in between the story, just put up your hand and I will pick you out and we'll handle the question. Could be about anything, whatever you want regarding the story or any personal matter that you have right now. Have some seat if you want to. So yeah, like I said, my name is Joey. I've been a DJ and a producer. I started out at the really beginning, at the age of about 14. Is there someone who's 14? 15? No? Everyone's older? Cool. I started out when I was 15 playing at children's parties, weddings, at people's homes, those kind of things. Really, really small children's parties. And I brought my own gear. I created my own desk, something like this. I made this together with my dad. Gathered some free speakers, some free mixing stuff. I actually didn't really have a mixer, just the ones with the volume knob, so I had to twist all those volume knobs to mix. But it was all free because I didn't have that much money. So that's how I started. I started out playing locally. From there, I ended up playing in a local bar because they knew me from DJing at people's parties. They heard of me, so they asked me to play there. That's actually where my DJ career started. I started playing locally from bar to bar, from club to club. That's where the first booker picked me up and brought me outside of my hometown to another city in the Netherlands. And that's the moment where I started making music. I was triggered because my nephew was making music at that time. And I was really interested in how that worked because it was just amazing for me to see that you could create something out of nothing and actually play it at the same night in the club and see what the reaction of the crowd would be. So I started making music with my nephew, and he went to the SAE. Do you guys know SAE, the producer school? I never went there, but I learned a lot from my nephew. So free school, also nice, all right. And when I started making music, that's actually where my career started, because the moment my music ended up on the internet, that was the moment where my awareness started to grow. You have to imagine that this has been like 10 years ago. It's really common right now that everyone's using internet. I know I sound like an old dick right now, but I'm 29 years old. But back in the days when I started there wasn't really social media. You had hives, but it wasn't really working the way Facebook was right now. So it was a different world, a different way of promoting your music. And releasing music online and putting it out on Beatport and Dance Tunes at that moment, dancetunes.com, you guys know that? Yeah, probably the older people know. Those were the most important platforms right now, and if you were hitting those charts, you were worldwide actually. Everyone from the music industry, dance industry, had a look at the charts from Beatport and Dance Tunes. And I was releasing at Sneakers and Nope is Dope, two really big famous party concepts from the Netherlands, which were really hot at that moment, and I released my tracks on that label. Kind of similar with Spinnin' at this moment, Revealed Recordings, like the bigger players right now. Those were Sneakers and Opus Dope at that moment. So when I released my music there, my tracks ended up in the charts, which gave me a lot of international awareness and which gave me my first international tour as well. I ended up playing in South Africa for the first time at the age of 20, I think, which was pretty crazy because I just got an email from someone I never met, I never knew. Hey, would you like to come over to South Africa, play 3 gigs, get this amount of money, I'll pay for your tickets, I'll pay for your hotel, and come over. So I was just amazed, you know. I had to go to my parents with that email and show them like, what do I have to do with this? Because yeah, I don't know this guy. Luckily, I had a guy at that moment who supported me in some kind of way. Wasn't a manager, wasn't a coach. He was just a guy who was really nice and who had some experience in the music industry. And he helped me out with business decisions, which this was a business decision. Should I go or should I not go? Is this guy to be trusted or is this not to be trusted? And I ended up going, which was really great. He joined me. And it was a great tour, and that was a moment for me where I knew like, wow, I can make a living out of this. I can make money with this. I can travel the world and see things and experience things, meet new people with making music in my little bedroom with my 2 crappy speakers and my with my 1 crappy computer. So that's where things got really interesting to me, and when I decided to go full on and go professional and to go all in with it. I went to the Rock Academy. I'm not sure if you guys know that. Hammer Broad Academy, Rock Academy. I went there for just 1 year because when I was in the school, I noticed that it wasn't really adding value to me at that moment because my career already started and it was kind of holding me back instead of helping me with my career. So I decided to quit after 1 year and just work on my career actually. Which to me wasn't a bad decision because it ended up well. But yeah, I can imagine to me it was a really big decision. Because your parents and everyone around you are talking to you. You have to get a paper, you have to be successful, you have to end school, otherwise you will be a failure of life. And that's why that decision was really hard to me, because for the last 22 years everyone has been telling me that, and then the world is telling you something different. You know, you can be successful without having a paper and a piece of paper in your bag. So after making that decision, things went even harder because I had all the time of the world to work on my music career. I ended up doing a lot of collaborations, releasing on a lot of labels. Alongside my career, I did a lot on Revealed recordings from the beginning on. I did a collaboration with Hardwell, a lot with Firebeats as well. All those guys were in the same time frame as me. They were at the beginning of their careers. Nicky Romero as well, Kill the Bus. And we started working all together, and one popped harder than the other, of course. We all know the stories of the bigger DJs. And my career popped as well. I toured a lot, I played a lot around the world, did remixes for Jennifer Lopez, Pitbull, bigger artists, until 2014. It's been almost 4 years now. Time flies, wow. That was the moment. 2014 was my biggest year in my career. I think I was 25 years old, 26, and I had like a crazy touring schedule, toured all over the world, released a lot of tracks, and then I had to move my home because we rented a new place, so we had to move, and there was a lot of work to be done, but I knew that I wanted to do that particular week because that weekend I had to go to India for a mini tour, 3 gigs in 5 days, which wasn't really weird to me because that's something I would do every weekend actually. I would go on my own, which also wasn't really weird to me because that's something I've been doing for the last 4 years. So I ended up decorating the house, building everything, moving, so it's really intensive, an intensive week to my body but also to my brain, of course. Lots of stress when you move. You probably all have a girlfriend which, oh sorry. We all have that person. If you move, everyone gets stressed, and it's just a lot of work. So yeah, I had that week, and then I had to go to Schiphol, to the airport, to go to India. And from that moment on, I already noticed something's wrong, something's different. I didn't really feel like going. I wasn't really feeling great. I wasn't having fun going. I just wanted to stay home and enjoy my new home and with my girlfriend together. But even though I went, and from the moment I arrived, I just completely collapsed, physically and mentally. And at that moment, I didn't really knew what was happening to me because it was new to me. I never had one of those experiences before. I just noticed that I was really, really unhappy. I could cry about anything. I was physically ill. I had to throw up. I was shaking all day. I had panic attacks all day long, so I was scared of flying. And before that, I was flying a lot and never had any problems. But until that moment, I was really scared of flying. The moment I entered the plane, my complete body started shaking and stuff. So something was happening, and I had to be in India for 5 days. And that took me, in my head, it was like a year. It took really, really long before I could go home. I had to do 3 gigs in between, and I made a decision to stay there and not go home and just finish the tour, do the 3 gigs. And if I have a look back at the pictures from those gigs, I can't see any difference than me seeing right now. Like I just look really happy, a little bit pale of course because of the sleep and stuff, but overall not much difference. But I still remember that after the gig I just immediately went back to my hotel room, started crying, opened up Skype or FaceTime, into that airplane again because I had to play in 3 different cities. So each day meant 1 flight. So that was one big roller coaster of emotions. I'm not sure if anyone here has been in India before. Yeah, it's a completely different country than the Netherlands. Everything is different. It's really hot. There's so many people out there. The quality of hygiene isn't the same as we have here. The food is different. There's a lot of bacteria. Is it English? Bacteria. So my body was getting hits from all over, you know, like temperature, the busyness, like people everywhere, and I just went crazy because there was a certain point where I even thought people wanted to attack me when I was just walking on the street, just a panic attack. I thought everybody wanted to kill me. It's really crazy what happened in my mind at that moment. So when I got back, I called my mom and said, could you please pick me up at the airport because I'm not sure if I'm even capable of going from Amsterdam to my hometown, which is Tilburg. It's about an hour with the train, which was normal to me as well. But at that moment, I really wasn't capable of doing such a thing. So my mom picked me up at the airport, and the moment I came out of the exit, I just started crying and hugged my mom and said, something needs to change. Because the thing was, this all happened around May. And 2014, like I said, was the biggest year of my career. I had to play at Tomorrowland, I had to play at Creamfields, I had to play all over the world, a tour in Asia, a tour in the States. And in between, a lot of flights, of course, lots of gigs in Ibiza, in the rest of Europe. So a really crazy touring schedule was ahead of me because summer was starting. It was May, the craziest moment was starting. And I realized I needed to do something because I wasn't capable of handling those 5 days, and there were 5 months ahead of me that I needed to do the same thing all over again. So I started to change some things. I started to bring friends with me on tour just to have some familiar people around me. That didn't help. Then I changed like the luxury of traveling. I started to upgrade things to have better space because I'm pretty long, and before I always traveled economy class, so I always like sitting this in the chairs. I started to upgrade, like, thinking maybe that could help. Also didn't help. And after a few months, I did do the whole tour eventually. I just managed to pull myself together and to do everything. Starting to smile again during the summer, and people not really showing to people that something was wrong. And then at the end of the summer, before my last tour, I had to do one big tour in Asia in September. And it was a really crazy schedule, and I just woke up on the day that I had to leave. I woke up and I looked at the stair and I was like, I'm going nowhere. I'm going to stay here in bed, cry all day long. Whatever's going to happen, the world can burn, I will stay here. So I called my manager, called my booker, called my parents, and I just said the same thing as I said now. Whatever happens, I'm not leaving. I will stay here. But the tour was already planned, was already scheduled, tickets were bought, hotels were already booked, flyers were made, everything. Tickets were already sold for the parties. So you can imagine that a lot of things needed to be arranged at that moment. Which cost me a lot of money actually, because I was the one cancelling and a lot of people were depending on me, so a lot of things had to be refunded, so it cost me a lot of money. But at that moment I really didn't care. I just thought, as long as I can stay in my bed, it's good with me. Now I think, I could have made a better decision, but at that moment, perfect decision. So yeah, that's the moment where I started talking with my management and my booker, like, okay, they were thinking, okay, what's going on, you know? I noticed that something was different in the last few months, but we never expected this. I never talked about them about this, you know? And then we had a talk. they were pretty understanding about it, and we tried to find a way to make it better for me, to make traveling more easy, better schedules, more time in between gigs, better times of flying, so not that early in the morning, but you can have decent sleep and stuff. Have decent food in the artist room or at the hotel, those kind of things. Ended up not helping at all, unfortunately, which actually led me to going to a career coach. Has anyone ever been to a career coach here? No? Did it help you?
Yeah, it cleared my mind.
Okay, opened some doors in your head. Okay, same with me actually. I had to do a personal test and a career test. So first you had to find out what kind of person you are, what the things are that you really like. Do you like family? Do you like traveling? Do you like working with people or working on your own? Or would you like to make a career? Would you like to get bigger, or would you just stay in your hometown and that's it? Those kind of things. And same with your career, like what kind of job fits you as a person. And I ended up doing those tests with 2 results, and I had those 2 results, put them on top of each other, and I just instantly noticed like you had those kind of peaks which notified what was important to you. And the left side was my job and the right side was my personality, and everything was completely off balance with what I was doing at that moment, being a DJ and being a producer, a traveling DJ. Because I just really like to stay at home, be in my small little hometown with my family. I don't really like being out of my home environment, and yeah, all those kind of things. And I don't really like to be in the picture and be famous. I never really liked it. So all those things were actually wrong to me, and that's the moment where a lot of pieces of the puzzle just fitted, and I thought like, wow, I've been doing the wrong thing for the last 10 years. It just never came to me in the last 10 years that this wasn't my way to go. This wasn't my career that was meant to me. And that's the moment I decided to quit. To just completely quit DJing, completely quit producing, because I was just sick of the music industry, sick of all the fake DJs, all the fake producers, everything. I was just completely crazy. Deleted all the social media stuff, didn't even look at my phone. My passion for music was away. I didn't enjoy listening to music anymore. I was completely done, quit it. And of course, that's an easy choice to make because yeah, you can always quit, you know, that's easy. But the bigger question is, what are you going to do afterwards? Like, you're 26-year-old, of course. Quitting school is easy, quitting a job is easy, but you have to make money, you have to, yeah, you're 26-year-old, you still have 50, 60 years to go. So then I had to think about what I want to do next. And I started to think, I quitted school because of my career, so I don't have any, any paper. I don't actually have anything aside from my experience, my knowledge, and the network that I've built in the last few years, which ended up being pretty important for being an artist. And what I like doing as well, which came out of the test actually, is helping people, spreading knowledge, spreading experiences, talking in front of groups like this. So I tried to find a way to take all those things, put it in a jar, and try to find a way to create my perfect job. And then I started thinking, what's the thing that I missed as an artist during my own career? Was there something I missed or hated during my career, which I always thought like, why isn't there someone who could help me with this? Because you have managers, you have bookers, you have publishers, you have labels, but all those people, they make money on you. Because if you make money, they make money because they're percentage deals. And I always hated that because nobody could explain to me why someone made money out of me and how much they did for me to be worth that money actually. So I thought, why isn't there a guy who I could just pay on an hourly fee so I know what the costs are, who can help me grow my career, who has the experience, the knowledge, and the network, because a lot of people are struggling with the network, you know, knowing people all around the world and getting your career to the next step. Why isn't there someone who's doing that? And then I thought of the idea like, you know what, I'm gonna be an artist coach. Just someone who helps other artists out in their career, guiding them along the way, trying to keep them from making mistakes in their career, connecting them with people who they need at that moment in their career, all those kind of things. And that's where I started doing artist coaching. And that's what I do nowadays. I just help out artists with their career. So I'm still I still work in the music industry, but on the background. I don't need to travel that much anymore. I speak to a lot of people. I still make music since about a few months back. I started making music again, but just for fun, not as a career, just because I like it. The passion is starting to come back. So yeah, everything's starting to fall back on this place right now, and I must say that I'm way more happy right now. I'm way more in balance. I've made the decision to quit. That has been my own decision. It's been the right decision. So I'm way more happy with how my life is right now. And that's why I try to do the artist coaching as well, to help people like a lot of you artists out here to do that nowadays full time. So that's my story. A long and disappointing story, actually. Are there any questions so far, if you've heard this story? Is there anything you would like to know more about, or any of you are struggling with something similar, some feelings that you have, like, I'm not sure if I fit into this industry as well. I feel like I need to change myself as a person to fit in, or no one has that kind of feeling?
Looking back on your own downfall from now, would you say there are certain signs that you had before you actually did break down? Stuff that you, in retrospect, think that, oh, I should have paid more attention to that?
Yeah. To me, it was personal health, because I really like sports. I've always done a lot of sports as a child, but I put that on a lower effort when I was getting bigger as a DJ. So I just needed to work out 3 times a week, 2-3 times a week, healthy food as well, but also your own personal things, as in I really like to be with my friends and family a lot of the time. And I wasn't able to do that because I had to tour that much, and my friends had their lives as well, of course. But I just forgot to plan in time to meet them and to actually be at their birthday and see them with Christmas and those kind of things. And if that's important to you, you should be, you should plan that, and you should be making room for that in your schedule. Just clear out things because it's important to you. You can skip that once, you can skip it twice, but you can't skip it for like a year, because it's a key thing to you. So you need to make time in your agenda. Just skip other things to keep doing the things that are really important to you. And the first thing I really started noticing it is when I went to India, actually, when I started experiencing the physical thing. Because of course I knew mentally in the last 5 years there were a few moments where I thought, I could have been happier at this moment, but never really understood what was happening, never really thought about it. This was going to happen. Because she told me the moment you started working on your music career, she already knew that her little Joey wasn't made for this kind of industry, you know, like traveling that much and all that pressure and stuff. I've always been, as a kid, I had a lot of homesickness, a lot. Like when I slept at my neighbor's place, I wanted to go home, like 5 meters away from my own bed. So she was already thinking like this isn't possible. But you know, as a parent, I'm actually really happy that she gave me the chance to experience it myself, because I think if she would have prohibited me, I would have never done it, and my life would be completely different. So my parents were really happy. My relationship ended, actually, not really because of that, but it was a part of it. But that mostly was not because I wasn't a DJ anymore, but because I just lost myself. I really was a different person when I started the relationship. And at the end of the relationship, I just really shifted myself as well. So she didn't really recognize the person I was anymore. So everything in my life changed, actually. And I'm really happy about it. And people from the industry actually really respond pretty well as well. I got a lot of text messages when I sent out the message on social media that I wanted to quit. I didn't expect that many people to send out messages to me like, hey, I never knew what this was happening, or what happened, or if I can help, let me know. I got a lot of messages, and I never expected that, because I always thought it was just a cold relation, not that deep, you know. But yeah, it ended up pretty deep as well. Any other questions?
Yeah. How was the process when you actually quit your music label or your music agency, the booking agencies, and how was the process? Did it affect your rights your music or your artist rights?
The rights that I've signed away with the labels are still with the labels, of course, because that's the deal. The management deal, I had to sit out the deal, but yeah, I noticed them that I didn't want to play anymore, I didn't want to make music anymore, so they couldn't make any money out of me anymore. So they stopped working for me as well. So officially the agreement was running for about another half a year or something, but yeah, it just quit there. Bookings agency as well. And my own label is actually, it's still alive actually. I just kept it there, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna proceed with it, or I did a few releases in the last year, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it. I'm just not sure. We'll see. Any other questions?
Was there no way to combining those two lifestyles?
Yeah, that's fun, because I had a conversation with my career coach afterwards, like 1.5, 2 years after the decision. And he told me, like, if you would have done 10 more sessions with me, I think I was capable of finding a way to still being a DJ and an artist, but maintain a different lifestyle. But I just told him, like, no, I'm so done of being an artist, and I'm so ready for a new step in my life that whatever would have happened, I think I'm 100% sure that I wasn't made for that. I'm just not built for that kind of lifestyle. And the life that I have right now is way more simpler. It's way more boring, as people may know. I have bought a house, I have a new girlfriend, I'm actually becoming a dad in the next few months. So it's completely different than 3 years back. If you would have told me 3 years ago, like, in 3 years, that's you know, like having a job in your hometown full-time, coaching artists, becoming a dad, bought your house, have 2 kids, or two kittens, those kind of things, I would have told you you're crazy. But I couldn't be happier right now, and yeah, so I don't see myself go anywhere right now. Any other questions?
Yeah, at this stage, I think it's quite a positive turn of the story, actually.
Yeah.
By the summary you gave it. How do you now get in touch with these kind of artists that either are in a similar situation, or that actually, if all well, are a few steps earlier into the process? Yeah. And when do they recognize that they have an added value in contacting? And
how I reach out to them, or? Yeah, well, I try to do a lot of stuff on social media. I do a lot of talks like this on schools, on Hammer Broad Academy, Rock Academy. So I try to talk to all the youngsters who are getting started right now, but also the people who are already on the top or stuff. And I put out a lot of content on social media, spreading my story so people can relate to it and see, like, oh, I'm not the only one who's experiencing this. And through that way, you know, it has to come from the person itself. I can't force someone to come to me, you know. Someone has to, wants to do it himself. Mm-hmm. So that's the way I try to do it.
How do you feel like you could interact with those artists that approach you? What's your criteria for you to work with them?
I have a few criteria, as in I always do some kind of intake conversation before we do the coaching program. And it's really important to me that you're serious about it, that you're not in it for the money or the girls or whatsoever, but you're really into the music. You want to build a career out of it. I think that's the most important thing to me. And you already have to have some own music. You already have to have some releases. When I have to listen to your music and hear something in it, like, okay, there's something here, needs some tweaks and stuff. But with most people, the biggest thing what people are struggling with is the networking, getting their track signed, and knowing actually how the industry works, because that's not something that is written into books. It's something that you have to experience yourself. Days like this, you know, if you walk here and meet new people, that's the most important thing. It's not the track you make in the studio, it's all this, because without knowing all those people, that track is going nowhere. So it's 50-50 and maybe even 60-40 or 70-40 in 70-30 in percents. So yeah, these kind of things are most important. Any other questions?
Yes. When do you think it is the right moment to start thinking about taking a management or booking agency, things like that?
I think the most important thing, what you always should remember, is that if you're ready to have a manager or a booker because you're getting too big or too busy, they will approach you. Yeah. Because a manager is most of the time only works with people who they who they believe in, who they think they can make bigger or can make money off, because it's just a business. They want to make money. They want to do an investment. And if you're not that big, but if you're a promising talent, they're going to invest their time in you to eventually earn money if you're becoming bigger. And that's why they also do like the long-term deals, like the 3-year, 4-year deals. So they can have the first year and a half to build you and then start earning money on you. Which isn't a bad thing necessarily if they do the work and if they get you to that next level. Of course, if you make more money because of them, it's not a bad thing to give them a small part of it. But not all management do that. Most of them just sign you, sit back, relax, and get like 20% of your income, and that's the wrong way to do it. So I would just wait until they approach you, unless you really think you're just swamped in work and you don't know where to go.
Okay. And it's not possible to stay independent.
It is possible, yeah, but I don't think you can do everything by yourself. Because especially when you get bigger, there's so many things that you have to do. I was actually talking to Nico, and he also said like, he's also just beginning the first few years, but he also said like, there's so many things to do. I feel like I'm working more on the networking and connecting with Spotify playlist owners and bloggers than I'm just making music, you know. The other side is way more work. So I don't think you can do everything by yourself, but staying independent is possible.
Would you sign for a major label and release through that, or would you get in touch with the promo company and then release yourself on your own label or as yourself as free download?
It really depends on, it's really custom, you know, like every track is different and every DJ or artist is different. If you have a goal to be a really commercial DJ and like a really commercial artist, such as let's say Beyonce or those kind of artists, or Calvin Harris is right now, you need like the bigger labels to spread your music all over the world and let that be all properly arranged. But if you're just a smaller artist who's not really planning to do just other things and just dance music on like club music, I don't think that's really necessarily. So it's really depends on what kind of music you make, what your goal is, where you want to go, and what the deal is, what they're actually going to do for you. Because just signing a track, releasing it without any promotion or whatsoever, why would you sign with the label if you can do it yourself? So it really depends on what they can add as a value to your release and what you have to pay for that, what kind of percentages.
Yes, do you only coach people like in a physical form, real life, real time?
No, online and physical, and actually about 80% of my clients are from abroad, so from all over the world. It's through Skype. And about 20% is Dutch or living nearby in Belgium or Germany who is coming with the car. But most of them is Skype.
And how can I see that? Like in 1 week, do you speak them?
Yeah, I do 1 session a month normally. Some people have 2 sessions a month, but that's a lot. There's not much happening with most careers, so you have to speak twice a month. But once a month, 1 hour, and for most people that's enough.
Okay.
So it's just we just pick a date and a time. Then we meet up on Skype or in real person.
And where can people contact you?
You can go to my website, which is artistcoaching.nl. There's all the information, and if you can reach out to me on social media pages if you have questions, or just to the contact form on my website, whatever you would like.
Yes,
how many clients do you have?
About 25 right now, I think. Not everyone's a regular, like they come in monthly, but I just switched up my business. I added some packages, so you don't have to. Not everyone has to be in a personal coaching course, but you also have like a monthly thing, which you could do just focused on. I have one package which is just focused on music marketing and music promotion, and that's for 1 month. 4 sessions, all in 1 month. And the coaching thing is something you can do for the rest of your career, actually. There's no end date on that. You can do it as much as you want.
One more question. How does the producer's response after your session? Do they eager to work harder?
Motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, looking back right now, I've been doing this for about 2 years right now. One of the biggest reasons why people visit me is to get motivation. They want to get inspired again and have a different perspective on their music, on their career. They want to have a creative sparring partner, just someone to talk with who understands what they're going through, because when I went to a psychologist or to someone like a career coach, he can help me, but until here, you know, he doesn't understand the music industry because it's a completely different industry. And it's such a jungle out there, like everyone, it's such a complicated industry, and you really have to understand how it works to be able to advise someone. Artist coaching, career coaching, life coaching, it's actually all combined into one package. And every talk I have is different. If you're into the coaching program, when we meet once a month, it's really up to you to decide what you want to talk about, because sometimes someone comes to me and said like, I just got dumped by my girlfriend and I have to leave on tour tomorrow. How am I going to be able to do that? So it's a mind thing. Some people come to me and say like, I have 10 tracks. What's the best way to release it or to plan it? Or I have these 3 deals. What's the best? What do I have to look out for? Is this the best moment to get a manager? Or I have a manager who is interested. Is a trusted party? All those kind of different questions. So it's really custom plan, and it's up to the clients to decide what they want to talk to or what they want to talk about each month.
Yes, I've been in a band for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the band members, the lead singer, Burnout as well. Do you have any tips for being on the other side, working together with someone who is losing motivation or burning out? Or
It's really hard because it all happens in the mind. And if the person who really has the burnout doesn't really talk about it, it's really hard for you to know what the real reason is why he's burned out. Especially if the person in case doesn't really know itself what the reason is, because most of the time that actually is the fact that they don't know why they've burned out. So yeah, I really think that's really hard for me to advise on, because I don't really have experiences on that. I only know that from people around me, like my ex-girlfriend and family, they found it really hard to get in my mind because I wasn't talking. I wasn't saying what was wrong with me and why I was so down and why I was so unhappy. So I think the best advice I can give you is try to talk with him or her and see if there's anything you can get out of them, and yeah, if you can help with them. But just be there, you know, like that's the only thing you can do. And help them with, if they need your help with whatever that could be. But I think if you really want to know more about the burnout thing, I think you should visit like more a psychologist, because it goes deeper into the mind than I go, you know, like I said, it's all combined what I do, but until a certain level. And if someone is really burned out, I always send them to a psychologist, because that's not something I'm educated on.
yeah, I was more wondering like how to balance. Before I studied psychology, so I know a bit about the burnout, but it's over now, so the bench is quit, so it's not really relevant anymore. But it's just for projects in the future. But I saw it kind of coming, but I find it really hard to keep the fun in the playing together with being effective, being efficient, and
yeah.
and focus.
I think to be precautious for the next time, if you're scared of it happening again, try to make the person aware when you see a change in his body, you know, when you see he's being more unhappy, or when you see things that were happening at the first time as well, just notify him and say like, dude, something's happening, you know, do you know that yourself? Because sometimes it just happens in the subconscious with people, and they don't really know themselves that they're in the same pattern again. So you have to make them awake and aware of the fact that it's happening again. Yeah? Any other questions?
Do you involve managers or other team members when you're coaching artists?
Sometimes I do conversations I'm actually in between the other parties, so the managers and the bookers and the artists, because sometimes those two parties collapse, and the artist doesn't really know how to communicate with the management or vice versa. And then I'm going to sit on the table and help them. Most of the time that's business-wise, because most of the people are really young. They don't have any idea how normal business works, what money is, how many percentage you should give them. And that's why I'm sitting next to them on the table to advise them on that, and to have a professional party next to you. You had a question as well?
No.
Same question. Okay.
How long did it take for you to feel like you were comfortable in the industry, like knowing every rights, knowing labels, like knowing how to promo everything?
I actually noticed it when I started coaching, and then I started noticing, wow, I know a lot. Because when I was an artist, it was just normal to me. It was like a natural habit to me. I didn't have to think about it. It was just something that came natural to me. of course, it wasn't natural because I learned it along the way, but it felt natural. And when I started to spread the knowledge, that's when I started to write things down and stuff. That's when I noticed, like, wow, okay, I know a lot. Because yeah, when I was an artist, I was just going on and on and on and on, not really thinking about all those things. Okay, thanks guys. If you have another question after this session, you can always reach out to me on social media. It's at JoeySuki everywhere. Or just visit the website artistcoaching.nl, and there's a contact form there if you're interested. And thanks you guys for showing up today.